When Castro took control of Cuba in 1959, turning it into a dictatorship, many of its citizens fled the country in search for salvation. One of these people was the owner of El Cubano Cigars, Manuel Lopez.
As a child, I had a good time. I grew up on a small town, a lot of trees to climb and a lot of rivers to swim on, and it was a lot of fun. Well, my main reason is my family grew tobacco in Cuba since 1904. So as a child, I grew in the tobacco fields, and I knew a lot about tobacco and cigars and so forth. I learned how to roll cigars when I was 12 years old. So I decided to start it over here years later. Basically, the system changed when the Castros took over and started coming from over there, and I knew it's time for me to leave. It's not my type of lifestyle. I live in 1961. I had a small sailboat, and I sailed from Cuba to Key West. It was very smooth, no problem. A night and a day, and just my wife and I, and nobody else on the boat, and we made a real nice trip. And the first thing I did when I arrived here is I work as a mechanic. I had a background of that because I was a mechanic in Cuba, and later on I became a pilot. The United States was exactly what I expected, a free country, and you can do anything you wanted as long as it's legal. I have several careers. I worked as a mechanic for a long time. I had a garage of my own, and then I decided to change, and I worked for a company, then sell to the oil companies for about 7 years. After that, I went into the pawn shop business, and I was in that business for 20 years. And then I retired and decided to do the cigar thing, actually as a retirement, because I started this when I was 69.
In 2006, Manuel opened his first cigar shop with the help of his son, Manny, who he also mentored.
The cigar business in our family has been part of our family for 5 generations, back since the early 1900s in Cuba. So my father predominantly has been one of my biggest mentors in the cigar business. Oh, it was nice because we are able to share a lot of experience and talk about a lot of different things, not only with cigars, but other life experiences, and that have helped me throughout the years as well. A little bit about my father. Like I say, he was basically born in the tobacco fields in Cuba, lived in there for 25 years approximately before he migrated to the United States. Of course, since it's a family business, it was something that his uncles and father taught him how to do, and it's been passed on from generation to generation. So there's a lot of work that goes into making cigars. There's a lot of time, a lot of care, a lot of passion, a lot of love. A lot of times people don't realize that making cigars is actually a form of art, because you're starting with a pile of leaves and you're finishing with a nice finished product that has certain flavors, it has aroma, it has many different characteristics. It's used for relaxation, it's used for spending time with friends and family, and so there's a lot that goes into making a cigar, and there's a lot that the cigar offers to the smoker. Just because it's something that the family had done. I'd done some other things prior to this, and just came to a point where my dad had retired and he wanted to be active and do something, and we kind of sat down and discussed the idea of starting a cigar factory and starting to sell cigars, and that's how it all came about.
Well, we started with a little store over there in Lake City, like I say, in '06, and we got it going real good, and then we opened the second store and increased the size of the factory, so we have done pretty well. Well, I wanted mainly to make some cigars, manufacture it myself, other than have the same cigars that everybody else got.
Many modern cigar shops have made changes in their rolling techniques, but for Manuel, it's a different story.
We roll the cigars exactly the same way that we roll it in Cuba. Now, some other countries have developed a different system now where they have two persons. One person actually makes the cigar and another person puts the wrapper. So they do that way for production, but we do it the old way. Just one person does it from the beginning to the end. My uncles, two of my uncles, my mother, brothers, they were the one that had the tobacco plantations, and they were the one that actually teach me how to grow tobacco, plant it and prepare it and all that stuff. They were nice old guys, older, you know, the Spanish guy from Spain, and which later when Castro took over the plantation, they moved back to Spain. I never seen them again. Well, this is a very long process, first because the plant is a lot of labor intense to plant it and to grow it and to cover it when it comes time with cheesecloths and then pick it up, and then after you harvest it, there's a 2-year process of fermenting the tobacco.
It's Cuban seed tobacco we bring from Honduras, Nicaragua, Ecuador, Dominican Republic, Peru, Colombia, Costa Rica. We actually bring the leaf in here and Texas City to the factory. And here we do our blends of different types of cigars. We currently have 19 different blends that we roll and a little over 100 different cigars that we make. So in-house here we do all the rolling of the cigar, all the aging of the cigar, and of course the marketing and selling of the cigars. The process of rolling cigars during the day is a process that we can do approximately about 100 to 150 cigars in an 8-hour period, depending on the size of the cigar. Well, our goal is to continue to grow. We've currently purchased a new building in League City where we'll be expanding our existing store in League City. And we look forward to opening some other stores in different parts of the city in the near future as well. So we look forward to bright expansion and growth.
This business, like I say, I don't know, it's going well. I hope we do better. And but like I say, I don't have great expectations of me doing a whole lot. I'm 80 years old, and I think I need to slow down some. And it's going to be up to Manny to see what he wants to do.
When asked about Cuba, Manny and Manuel had similar thoughts and very strong feelings about the subject.
I have not been to Cuba just because of what my family experienced when exiting Cuba and the manner in which we had to leave Cuba. I just don't feel that as long as the current regime is in power, I have no interest in visiting Cuba. If the government changed and people had rights like they do here and it became a democracy, then I would go. But until that period, I'm not interested in going.
I don't anticipate any changes at all. And, you know, maybe eventually something will take place. But as long as they got that system, you know, I don't see that they're going to be going anywhere. And they really don't want to change, you know. They talk about this and that, and we want this and we want that, but actually they don't intend to do anything. I don't see any near future. Eventually, when the Castros died, and you know the new people come in, who knows? But nobody can tell what's going to happen there. It's just, you know, they keep it tight, and so basically they run it like any other military dictator. You do what they tell you or you go to prison. It's simple. To be honest with you, for what I see on all these videos and all the pictures and everything in Cuba, I just rather remember it like it was, because it's nothing over there now than it's worth looking at. They run it down so bad, you know. So I don't see nothing over there that I'm interested, really. It's just, Cuba was a very nice place, but it's not now one. So, you know, like I say, I rather remember it like it was. Well, like a very nice country with a fantastic weather absolutely fantastic people, you know, and a great life. You know, free country, constitutional country, which is now not the case. Now the government owns anything, everything, so people starving to death. They don't make it. The people pretend to work and the government pretend to pay them. So they're not going anywhere. I don't have any family over there. All my family, most of my family were from Spain, and some of them left, and the other ones, my immediate family, came here in '69. My sister and my mother and my father. And so I don't know much about Cuba other than what I hear.
There does seem to be some changes happening in Cuba, from its increase in tourism to the recent visit of President Obama. But this still does not overshadow the record-breaking numbers of its poverty-stricken citizens fleeing the country.
For somebody that didn't see it, didn't realize how well people live in this country and how much they complain, despite the fact they don't have any reason to complain, how they claim that they're poor and they've never seen poor until they go to these third world countries. And you know, I hope somebody get the idea.